Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellowshow. My name is Kyle. Tonight, Thursday Night Football, December 23rd. Hope you guys have a happy holiday. We're going to be looking at the Titans and the San Francisco 49ers in about 45 minutes. For this show, I'm just going to answer questions from the chat room, so fire them up if you guys need start-sit stuff. Otherwise, I'm kind of just going to continue to just read the news. Again, the times right now for pretty much every sport, the COVID news is it's a lot. So there's a lot of inactives, a lot of things going on. As far as tonight's game, A.J. Brown, I saw a pretty good quote from NFL Network's Cameron Wolfe saying A.J. Brown's expected to receive a full workload. So I think if you have A.J. Brown, you got to find a way to get him in your lineups tonight. The Titans offense has really been lacking at the receiver position. So I think A.J. Brown looks like a guy that you want to get in your lineup. The 49ers defense has been banged up. You guys remember what Russell Gage did against this team last week? I think A.J. Brown is the guy I want to get in my lineup. Good evening to Christian. Yeah, today, at this point, like I just wake up every day and I'm like, okay, what could go wrong? And then that's basically going to go wrong. So it's been a pretty crazy, hectic last couple of weeks here. We're looking at the Hammy. What's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out tonight. Good to have you. And Kittle feels pretty good. I will say, as far as fantasy points allowed, and if you guys want to check out the link, I'm going to put that link in here. If you guys are on your phones or if you're on the desktop, there's a link here that shows fantasy points allowed to position. The Titans, they allow the 28th most, so they're pretty solid against the tight end. So as far as Kittle going off tonight, he would be going against the grain. The Titans only allow 8.9 PPR points to the tight end on the season. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns to the tight end as well and under 500 yards on the season. So it's a tough matchup for Kittle, but I do think Kittle operates more like your wide receiver in that offense, and the Titans do allow the most wide receiver points. So I think there's kind of a happy medium in between. I expect Kittle to eat as well. The Hammy says Gibson or A.J. Brown. Gibson's got the toe, man. He's questionable. I don't think he's practiced Wednesday or Thursday. He's been DNP, yes, Wednesday and Thursday. So no practices in 2 days. I think you got to throw A.J. Brown out into the mix tonight, especially. Well, here's a thought I've been having. If you need a player and you have a decision on a Thursday night game and you have a guy either Saturday or Sunday, like we don't know like who's going to wake up tomorrow and test positive for COVID. So I lean towards, especially in your case, A.J. Brown. There's been really positive quotes about A.J. Brown getting a full workload tonight. I'm going to get A.J. Brown in my lineup. So I think in this case, we're going to bench Gibson. Not really even sure if he plays. So I think it's pretty easy for me. Go with Antonio Brown. What's going on, Harris? Thanks for hanging out tonight. Hope you're doing well. Is Austin Eckler going to play this week? I do not think so. So Austin Eckler, he's a really cool dude. He's really fantasy football friendly. He's been on the Yahoo podcast this fantasy football season, and he was with Liz Loza, and they were having a conversation with Dawson Knox. And Dawson Knox was telling a story how he has Austin Eckler on his fantasy team. And Eckler's like, yeah, man, you should grab Justin Jackson. And then if you can't get Justin Jackson, you should get Josh Kelly. So I think Eckler trending towards not playing. You should definitely run. If you got to run to your waiver wire, go check and see if Justin Jackson's there. I think you're going to be without Austin Eckler this week. If Goff doesn't play, should I start Amon-Ra St. Brown, Thielen if he plays, or Devontae Parker? Okay, so I've been getting this question a lot on my TikTok. I've been getting a ton of Amon-Ra St. Brown questions. And I got to tell you, if we're getting Tim Boyle out there, I am hesitant to start Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm hesitant to start almost any Detroit Lions, and I don't really know how many others we would want to start. So I think in your case, I'm going to rule Amon-Ra St. Brown as the third best play here. I do like Adam Thielen if he plays just because of the nature of that game against the Rams. One, it's in Minnesota, so I like the vibes there. I think Thielen's a guy that plays well at home. And as far as the Rams-Vikings, that sounds like a high-scoring game to me. I don't know if there's going to be too much, defensive plays being made in that one. So I like Thielen, probably the best here. I would rank Devontae Parker the second best, and then probably Amon-Ra St. Brown third. But if Amon-Ra St. Brown gets Jared Goff back, I'm open to Amon-Ra St. Brown being the play here. So we have to monitor this. I think both teams play on Sunday. So if Goff is the QB, I like St. Brown. If not, I'm going to go with Thielen. Mike Evans or Adam Thielen. It's looking doubtful for Mike Evans, so I think the easy call here is it's going to be Thielen. I don't think you're going to have much of a choice in this one. Mike Evans did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, so it's looking like Adam Thielen's going to be your only choice. Awesome, Hammy. Thank you. I appreciate that. That makes my day. That's awesome. Congrats. I hope we can get you to the championship round. and I hope you get it too. Nothing makes me happier than knowing I helped someone make some good decisions. And don't get me wrong, I get some questions wrong often, but it's always good to help people get some questions right. Do you like starting Alexander Madison over names like Javonte, Saquon, and Gibson? So the overall theme on Antonio Gibson is he hurt his toe, which he had the turf toe last season that cut it it cut his season short last year. So I don't like the aggravation of this. So for me, if you only have one spot between all four running backs here, I think you got to ride the hot hand and probably play Javonte Williams. The Rams do give up a few running back points here, but they are pretty solid against the run. Let me look actually here. Where are the Rams? The Rams are middle of the road here. They're going to allow about 22.72 points to the running back. But I guess in terms of volume, Alexander Madison's probably the safest play. I think I would rank them Madison, Javonte, Saquon, and then Gibson last. Yeah, A.J. Brown. Yep, A.J. Brown tonight. A.J. Brown, I want to get A.J. Brown in the lineups here. And I thought that's what I meant. I thought we were talking about A.J. Brown up there. So A.J. Brown, I'm playing A.J. Brown over Gibson, no problem, because we really don't know if Gibson's going to play. I don't really trust Brady, and with Taysom getting COVID, do you have any other waiver wire QBs? Let me go to my ESPN resource real quick, and I just want to I got to look up and see how many QBs are available. I did find it interesting that Lamar Jackson still didn't practice today. I think Tyler Huntley is a guy that could be widely available for you, but let me look and see what we got here. So I'm looking at quarterbacks that are less than 80% owned. You got Kirk Cousins up there. I don't really care for Tua against at New Orleans nonetheless. They're ranking Cam Newton pretty high. I think he's a guy that's widely available here. Carson Wentz has some interest here. To be honest, I kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo tonight against Tennessee. Tennessee has been allowing a ton of wide receiver points. They allow, let me see here. Where are they in terms of quarterback points? They allow the 12th most quarterback points per game. So they've allowed 17.98 QB points per game. That's with a 4-point passing touchdown. So I kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo. If you're feeling that, that might be someone that is available for you. Otherwise, looking at this, it's really bleak. I think Jimmy G steps up. It's either that or Cam Newton. Jimmy Garoppolo, Cam Newton. Maybe Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz against Arizona is interesting. I think I would probably mess with some of those quarterbacks. Pick 2, Antonio. Why can't I click on it? Let me see here. Antonio Gibson, Jeff Wilson Jr., or Stevenson. Has Stevenson practiced this week yet? I know he had an illness. So Ramondre back-to-back Wednesday and Thursday do not practice. I think as far as picking 2 right now, I think you have to start Jeff Wilson tonight because we don't even know if Gibson's going to play or we don't even know if Stevenson's going to play. So it's hard to make this decision. I think you're going to lock in Jeff Wilson Jr. tonight, and then we'll make this evaluation later. If I had to choose, if Gibson plays, I'm going to play Gibson. And then with Stevenson, it looks like Harris is going to play. So I'm going to rank them Wilson, Gibson, Stevenson. But check your waiver wires for Justin Jackson. If Justin Jackson's available, he's a must-add. I'm sure Ronald Jones was already scooped up, but those are 2 of the hot names this week. Gerald Everett or Cole Kmet. This is a good one because these guys play each other. So in terms of fantasy points allowed, the Seahawks are allowing the 6th most fantasy points to the tight end, so that is a pretty good sign for Cole Kmet. They allow 14.72 PPR points per game, and if you're playing in half PPR, that's about 9 points per game. He's got a pretty good odds for a touchdown in this one. I don't think he scored a touchdown all year. And then if you're looking at the Chicago Bears, the Bears are pretty good against the tight end. They rank 26th out of 32. They only allow about 5.2 standard points here. So the numbers point to Cole Kmet, and if Andy Dalton's the quarterback, I kind of like Cole Kmet even better. So I think I'm going to roll with Kmet here. Will Travis Kelsey play? That one's hard to say. So I think they put him on the list Tuesday. Is that correct? I think they put him on the list Tuesday. He needs, I think it's 2 negative tests before Sunday. It's hard to say right now. I did see that Tyreek Hill tweeted something out about like being thankful. So maybe that's a positive vibe here. But for me, I haven't seen any information. I don't really know the context of the situation. So we're kind of on a wait and see approach with Travis Kelsey. I think for now, if you have Travis Kelsey, you got to make sure you have a backup plan just in case. Yep, we're good. A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown. AJ Brown. I gotta put this on later tonight, but AJ Brown. We're gonna want to start AJ Brown. How are you doing in your leagues? Oh my God! So the league that I care most about, I lost by 0.26 on Tuesday night because I had Antonio Gibson going and he didn't get enough. So I lost by 0.26 in my most important league, but my other, I guess my second most important league and my third most important league, I had buys. So I'm in the final four. Things are looking good for those two leagues. So yeah, I'm doing well. The one league that I care about the most, I wasn't successful. But at least leagues 2 and 3 were looking good. So I'm hoping for at least 2 championships coming up this week, I guess next weekend. Huntley or Wilson. If Lamar is indeed out, I think you're going to go with Huntley. He's hot. He gets the rushing upside. We've seen Seattle's offense lately, and it's just not exciting for football. The Bears tend to, play pretty scrappy on defense here. So I think you're going to roll with Tyler Huntley over Russ Wilson. Because I can start 3 still. Madison, Cordero, Saquon, AJ Dillon, Javonte, and Saquon. Okay. So the guy I like the most is Cordero Patterson. I know he let us down last week. He let me down last week. I in the league that I was talking about where I cared about the most, I had Cordero in there and he let me down as well. But I do think Cordero against Detroit, he's going to get his 15 touches. Start Cordero Patterson. For sure. As far as a running back 2, I think you're going to go with Alexander Madison here, just based on volume here. And then number 3, I'm probably going to go with Javonte Williams. He's been really good, and if you look at his last 2 games, I think it's a range of about 12 points to 22, and that's 2 games with Melvin Gordon playing, and it's the Raiders. Raiders allowed the 4th most points to the running back here, so it's a really good matchup. They actually allow the 3rd most points to running back, so I feel pretty good about Javonte Williams. He gets catches, he gets all the usage there, and I know Melvin Gordon's still getting a lot of touches, but it's a 2-back system there. So Cordero, Madison, Javonte would be my choices here. What's going on, Ron? Hope you're having a good, happy Thursday evening. We need to pick from Devonta Smith, Devonta Freeman, or Marvin Jones, PPR. So we just need one of these guys. Devonta Smith, Devonta Freeman, or Marvin Jones. Dang. Okay, so we're reaching deep for flexes. In terms of PPR material, I guess I'm kind of open to Devonta Smith. It's a good matchup against the Giants. Let me look and see real quick. Devonta Smith, FF today. I want to see how Devonta played against the Giants a couple weeks ago. So he only had 2 for 22, so I get it. That's not a super exciting start. The floor seems pretty low the last few weeks. It looks like Dallas Goedert's there. So I'm going to cross off Devonta Smith. Now I'm looking at Devonta Freeman. Let me see. Devonta Freeman, FF today. And we did see the Ravens play the Cincinnati Bengals earlier this year. In that game, Devonta Freeman, that was kind of the start of his takeover. He only had 4 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown, but he did catch 3 for 25 in that game. So I'm open to Freeman. He's been the lead dog since that game. He had a really low score last week, only 22 yards and a catch for 2 yards. So I think I'm a little bit hesitant there. It's probably Marvin Jones. Probably Marvin Jones here. Let me just double check Marvin Jones's numbers. And it's against the Jets, so that does help. It's PPR. I think the options for the floor for him last week though was pretty bad, 2 for 14. So this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Devonta Freeman. Of all the choices here, PPR, I like Freeman for a couple catches and at least to get some carries. They should be playing pretty well on this one. So I'm going to say Devonta Freeman. Let me just double check. That's a really tough question, my man. Freeman's like a fringe top 30 running back. Devonta Smith. I'm really struggling with this one, Ron. Devonta Smith, Devonta Freeman, or Marvin Jones. Dang, this one's tough. Gun to my head. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go with Devonta Smith. The Eagles are playing good. They're in the hunt for the playoffs here. I think Devonta missed out on a couple big plays last week. He could have had a better day. I think you're gonna go with the more exciting team. Like if you look at those 3 teams right now, Devonta Smith probably the most exciting play. Henderson, Reynolds, and Brandon Ayuk. get Brandon Ayuk in the lineup. Henderson, we still don't really know if he's even going to get more carries than Sony Michel. So it looks like Michel has the lead carries there. Josh Reynolds, I'm open to Reynolds, but only if Jared Goff plays, and that's just a question mark right now. So I have questions on Henderson with Michel. I have questions on Reynolds with his QB. I'm going to play Brandon Ayuk. The Tennessee Titans allow the most fantasy points to wide receiver. So, in PPR, the Titans allow the most. So I'm going to say Brandon Ayuk tonight. Do I play Parker and Waddle in the same lineup? Harris, I'm open to that. I for sure like Jalen Waddle a little bit more. I would expect Devontae Parker to be matched up with Marshawn Lattimore, it's a tough matchup for some receivers. So if I had to start one, I want Waddle. I think I would need to know some of your options. Who else could you start instead of Parker? I think that would help me. Abdullah or David Johnson. I think David Johnson missed practice today. Let me double check. David Johnson has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday. He's got a quadriceps injury. So I'm going to say Amir Abdullah. And Tampa Bay does allow a lot of receiving numbers to running back. So I think it's actually a pretty good play for Abdullah. If you guys need a PPR flex, I would say Amir Abdullah. Even Ron here, like Amir Abdullah might be in a PPR league. Amir Abdullah might be my option. Amir Abdullah in a PPR league, he's going to be good for a couple passes. Let me just double check. So last week, he saw 4 targets. He caught 4 passes for 48 yards and a touchdown against Buffalo. And Buffalo's a really good team against the run. The week before, Amir Abdullah, 4 targets, 2 for 17. The week before, 6 targets, 2 for 20. So he's going to see 4 to 6 targets in this game. He's going to get 2 to 4 carries. I know it's not a lot of touches, but against Tampa Bay, they do allow a lot of receptions. So something to think about. I'm not saying to do it. I think I'd still play Devonta Smith, but something to think about there. Do you like the Seahawks defense against the Bears? Predicted total points is 44. Let me double check here. I'm just opening up the DraftKings Sportsbook to see if that line's still holding. So Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. I have it down to 43 here. It's in Seattle. I typically like to look at this and say I'll take the home team with a low implied point total here. So Seattle is a good play. I think if you're looking for another potential good play here, the Falcons interest me a lot, but only if Jared Goff can't play. And then perhaps I think most people already have the Saints and the Dolphins defense, but that's the lowest implied game of the week at 37.5. But I'm cool with the Seahawks this week. And Jonathan Taylor will do that, man. Jonathan Taylor. My biggest regret, and I think the biggest mistake I made, was not ranking Jonathan Taylor higher this year. Back to like my draft kit and the projections when I was doing them this summer, we all thought Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson weren't going to be ready for week 1. So I was lower on JT by about a round. I think I had him like as a top 20 player instead of a top 10 player. So I regret not taking Jonathan Taylor. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. I have Mooney and Brandon Ayuk. I think I'm starting Brandon Ayuk over I would get Brandon Ayuk in your lineup tonight. Again, the Titans allow the most wide receiver points in a PPR setting, even in a standard setting. It looks like they still allow the most points here. They allow the second most points in a standard setting here. So they're going to be pretty vulnerable here. No team has allowed more yards to the wide receiver than the Titans. No team has allowed more receptions than the Titans. So I think statistically, Ayuk's a pretty good play tonight. I would put him in, and we'll make that decision later here. Abdullah or Singletary? Let's see. In a standard league, I'm going to go Singletary. In the standard league, I'll go Singletary. Dang it. Yep. Okay. That's fine. I'm just wondering if there's any other waiver wire running backs that might be out there. Let me double check. I'm sure Justin Jackson's been scooped up everywhere. I think if Deonta Foreman is still out there in a lot of leagues, I like Deonta Foreman in tonight's game. He's been over 100 rushing yards in 2 out of 3 games. In the one game that he didn't get 100 yards, he got the rushing touchdown. So Foreman is going to be a busy guy tonight. Perhaps Abdullah does look pretty good there. So I think Abdullah is a top 40 back. But let's see here. Do you think Duke Johnson or Craig Reynolds is worth a pickup and start? I would be open to Craig Reynolds, but it sounds like DeAndre Swift has a chance to play. I think so. If you want to, so I'll paint it this way: Duke Johnson against the Saints, I'm not really interested in. The Saints are the second best team against the running back, so they only allow 19 PPR points per game here. I can't guarantee Duke Johnson's going to be a big play. So I think the hedge move is to add Craig Reynolds if you can. If DeAndre Swift is listed out, I think you play Craig Reynolds against the Atlanta Falcons. He should be busy, especially with a backup quarterback potentially. So I think stash Craig Reynolds. Will make that decision later. And I would play Craig Reynolds over some of those other options we discussed. I like Jimmy G tonight, but I like Huntley more if Lamar is out. Should I wait and should I wait it out? Let me see here. In your other quarterback options, I'm cool with waiting it out. I do like Jimmy Garoppolo tonight. I think he's good for 2 touchdowns. So it does feel tough to pass on him. If you have the ability to get Huntley in your lineup this weekend, though, I like it. We just got to make sure we have a good backup behind Huntley. So, Christian, if you can tell me one, I guess your emergency, like if Lamar starts and you can't use Huntley, who's your what are you left with? Who's your emergency QB? And yeah, I like Van Jefferson a lot this week. In terms of fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver position, the Vikings allow the most in standard formats. The Titans allow the most in PPR and half PPR. But in standard leagues, the Vikings are the worst. So they're allowing a ton of yards, a ton of touchdowns. That's a really good play for Van Jefferson. I don't think he played well the other night, but we should expect a better number against the Vikings. I'm getting good vibes about that Rams-Vikings game. I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. And yes, I love Christian Kirk this week. He's kind of the clear number 1 receiver right now. I think AJ Green could be, getting some good volume this week. But Christian Kirk, I'm playing him probably as like a wide receiver too, a top 20 receiver. I mean, I would rather have Christian Kirk than guys like Adam Thielen, Russell Gage, Darnell Mooney, Terry McLaurin, guys like that. Can go for Kirk, Cam, Wentz, Matt Ryan. Okay, I think you're fine. Let's pass on Jimmy Garoppolo. If you have the Tyler Huntley hedge, I like it. If Lamar plays, let's go with Kirk Cousins again, because I'm kind of feeling. It feels like that Rams-Vikings game is going to be pretty competitive. The Vikings need to win to stay in the playoff hunt, so I feel like Kirk Cousins is going to be busy. Kirk Cousins or Brandon Ayuk. Oh man, this is a tough one. Kirk Cousins or Christian Kirk or Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to go with Christian Kirk in this one. I do like Ayuk, but again, he's kind of that 1B, number 2, 3 target. Christian Kirk's probably the preferred target in his offense, so they're both really good plays, but I think I'm going to wait for Christian Kirk against the Colts. The Colts, let me see here. Colts are middle of the road against the wide receiver position here, but again, they've allowed 17 wide receiver touchdowns. That's pretty high up there in the league. I think that's tied for 3rd most. So Christian Kirk's a pretty good play. Update on Darren Waller. Let me double check the practice reports today. Where are you? So still did not practice Wednesday, did not practice Thursday. I don't like the sound of that. I think if you have Darren Waller, you're going to have to probably plan on having another backup tight end for you. Can I drop Mooney? Is this Mooney or is this Darnell Mooney? Is that Darnell Mooney there, Harris? If it is Darnell Mooney, like he looked really good. He looks better with Andy Dalton. So I like Darnell Mooney if Dalton starts. He's probably a fringe wide receiver 3 type guy. Has Allen Robinson been cleared to? Even if Allen Robinson plays, it almost doesn't matter at this point. I'll say this: if you're not going to use Mooney, I'm okay with letting him go. And if you need the roster space for somebody else, I'm okay with letting him go. He doesn't really score touchdowns either. So I know Harris plays mostly in standard league. So he's really a guy that just gets you 60, 70 yards. So I think I'm okay with letting Mooney go if you need him there. Any idea when Jair comes back? So the Packers' big three: Jair, Zadarius, and Bakhtiari. It sounds more likely that Jair is going to be the first one back, and he's not going to play Saturday. But it sounds like the Vikings game is on the table, and then I would hope that they get him maybe one tune-up game, at least week 17 or week 18. It does sound like Jair's the one that's going to return the fastest. And with Bakhtiari and Zadarius, I think they're holding those guys out because if the Packers can secure a bye, that just gives them an extra week, and we could potentially see those guys in the second round of the NFL playoffs. But I'm opportunistic that Jair's going to come back this week. Let me double check the Packers reports here. Jair Alexander, he's not even on the injury report. So week 17 is probably an opportunity for him. So I think that looks pretty good. But if you guys got any more questions, fire them up. I'll hang out for a few more minutes. I hope everything goes well for you guys tonight. We need as many points as we can get on these Thursday nights. And lately, the Thursday night games have been pretty fruitful for fantasy. So I hope all of your needs are met. As far as live shows the rest of the week, Friday I'm traveling to my parents' home, Green Bay. I'll be going to the Packer game on Saturday, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get another live stream in. But if you guys do need questions answered, follow me on TikTok, on Twitter, or comment the YouTube video, and I'll get to you guys as soon as I can with your questions. I'm sure things are going to shift from Friday to Saturday. We'll kind of evaluate as things go along. Do I think Miles Sanders will play? That's a good question, Harris, because he popped up on the injury report today and yesterday too. So back-to-back DNPs. This is a good one. So we didn't cover the Eagles running back situation. So if you guys need to hedge somebody, Jordan Howard. You guys should go pick up Jordan Howard right now. Miles Sanders, back-to-back DNPs. Friday, if he does not practice tomorrow, it's likely that Jordan Howard is going to be the lead ball carrier. So I think if Sanders – it's for me, I can't really say if he's going to play or not. It's 50-50. I don't like that he doesn't practice in 2 straight days. Typically, Thursday's the more heavy workload of a practice day. So I don't like that he missed today. So kind of 50-50. But Jordan Howard, I would rather have Jordan Howard than Ramondre Stevenson at this point. Again, Damien Harris is coming back. And Stevenson, he fumbled last week. I think just Damien Harris coming back, that's the guy. I would rather own Jordan Howard right now. And if Sanders misses this game, Jordan Howard's a must start. Interesting. Jordan Howard might be the guy that if you guys need running backs. I just want to do my due diligence and make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Howard or Justin Jackson? If I had to start one, I'm going to start. Okay, so if we get the news that Austin Eckler can't play, I think I'm going to start Justin Jackson. It's an easier matchup against Houston. He's a really good pass catcher. Justin Jackson would probably be the guy that I'm looking at. But if Miles Sanders and Austin Eckler are out, and because you play in standard leagues, I think I'm going to go with Howard. If Miles Sanders is out, Howard's getting the touches. He's going to get some goal line opportunities. I like Jordan Howard here. But really, like both guys, if Eckler and Sanders are both out, those are really strong plays. Nope. I'm not trusting Julio Jones at all. Last week, he was practicing, and then he got into the game, and he tweaked his hamstring again. In the championship round, I'm not going to be able to responsibly recommend starting Julio Jones because 2 snaps into the game, that hamstring could tighten up on us, and then he could be screwed. So let somebody else play the Julio Jones bomb game. For me, it's just too risky. I don't want to be on the bad side of that. Brandon Cooks. I'm not sure if he's labeled as vaccinated. And I think he went on the list yesterday. With the COVID stuff, it's hard to say when a guy gets put on the COVID list, one, because they don't really tell us if he's vaccinated or unvaccinated. The NFL has gotten better. Their rules for a vaccinated player coming back quicker got a lot better last week. So I'm not sure if he is or not. We're going to just have to kind of wait and see, unfortunately, here. So as for now, any player that goes on the COVID list, I think you have to assume the worst, assume they're not going to play, cover your bets, make sure you have someone just in case. So that I think that's probably the best way to do it. New Orleans or the Philadelphia Eagles defense. So I think both are really strong plays this week. If I had to choose one, it sounds like Jake Fromm's going to be starting. That's kind of what it seemed like. If I had to choose one defense here, I'm kind of feeling the Saints at home against the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa does turn the ball over every now and then. It's a home game for the Saints, and it's as far as when I looked on DraftKings, it had the least implied point total here, so they're favoring the Saints to win in the lowest scoring game of the week. I'm gonna go Saints there. I do like the Eagles though, so it's a trust your gut situation, but Saints just shut down Tom Brady. And I know the offense was banged up with Godwin, Evans, and Fournette, but for the first half of football, those guys were in the game and they still couldn't do much. So I'm going to say New Orleans at home. I'm actually starting New Orleans in a league or two, so let's hope it works out for us. But anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. I have to get ready for this football game. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday evening. Merry Christmas to you guys. I'm sure we'll talk on other social media platforms before the Saturday and Sunday games, but I just want to wish you guys all good luck. I love having a lot of people here asking questions. Thanks to Christian, man. It's been fun having you in the chat room. And yes, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody. My next live stream will be probably Monday, so we'll catch you all then. But again, TikTok, Twitter, all the links are in the description below if you guys need to reach me. So thank you so much. Enjoy the game. We'll see you guys later. Peace.